I first heard of Centonomy through YouTube, and I thought that it was a public speaking company because everyone who stood up to talk was so eloquent and they shared their thoughts very well. And I remember the first story I saw was through my friend Washuka, and she was talking about the lessons that she learned from Washeke about assets and flow sets. So back then, I was hearing what she was saying, but I was not listening. So I kept seeing these videos on YouTube. They would pop up once in a while, and I never really paid attention. By training, I'm an industrial designer, and I design shoes for a living for a long time for Bata Shoe Company. And most of you might have probably worn shoes that I had designed. And along the line, I knew one day that employment was not the thing that I yearned for. I wanted to go out and do something more. And for me, that was creating. It was taking photographs, it was telling stories. So I resigned and started my business in 2016. And I thought I was an entrepreneur. I did it for 4 years, and I had the best time of my life doing what I loved, and I managed to experience some level of success in that area, becoming the best in that field. And this led me to now want to share and grow my passion further with other people. So I decided to start a company called Picture Images, which helped creatives to grow their business and get access to opportunities like I had come across. And as Washeke said, vision is something that is very disturbing because that's where the wheels started falling off the bus. Through Picture, we managed to bring on board quite a number of photographers, over 150. And at the time, I used to manage the entire operation, seeing how they were going to be paid, how they were getting access to opportunities, and as well as training them so that they can become better at their craft. Now, through this, I was very happy that I was living my dream. And with more responsibility came more problems. With more problems came more money. And with more money that came to the company, the less money I had. And I started wondering, what is not happening here? Why are we making a lot, but I'm making way, way less, even less than I was doing when I was employed? And last year was the toughest year for me, physically, emotionally, and financially. I never paid myself as an entrepreneur, and this ended up hurting me personally, to the point where I got into personal debt. And with this, things started spiraling out of control. And it got me thinking, this surely can't be the dream. It was more like a nightmare than a dream. And I wondered why I'd gotten myself into this. So I went back to the Centonomy videos that I'd been listening to a while back. And sometimes something can be right in front of you, but if you're not ready mentally, the opportunities, they cannot open up for you. So I went back and looked at what Centonomy has done, and I saw two stories. One was by a gentleman called Ben Kiruthi, who is also a photographer and a Centonomy alumni. And I saw what had happened to him and his business, how it had transformed. And I wanted the same thing for me as well. And the second person was David Masharia, who started Versatile Photographers. And just looking at these two people and what they were doing, it showed me that it is possible. It can be done. However, it cannot be done the way I used to do it. So I humbled myself, called the number, and Ruby picked up. And she was so pleasant on the phone. The customer service was amazing, and that's one of the first things that got me to know that this was the right place to be. So I signed up for the course, and through that period, I came to learn that I was a Juakali businessman all along. And one thing, I'd always had fear, but I never knew. I've always thought of myself as someone who is very fearless. I have jumped out of planes, I've climbed mountains, I've done everything that people consider crazy. But the one thing I never knew is that I am actually afraid to do some things. And one of those fears for me was saying no to clients. And this led me to always try to please the client at all costs. And this ended up actually hurting the business and hurting me, to the point where we actually lost some clients. So learning about fear and how to overcome it, and how to be gracious with yourself as an entrepreneur to allow yourself to fail, was one of the biggest lessons that I got from the course. The other thing was critical thinking. The story of the turtle and the hare. I'd always looked at it one way all along, and at the moment the other perspective was shared, it opened up my mind in ways that I never imagined. Actually, people don't learn what you say. They learn by seeing what you do. And circling back, the thing that really drew me to Centonomy was not what they taught, but what I saw happen to their alumni. And that is a promise to each and every one of us that it can also happen for us, that we can become what we envision.